Welcome to the Solution, a real estate podcast where Jeff Sibbach and myself, Phil Sexton, we come together with mics between us to talk about things that we see going on in the industry. We sit here as business partners. We run a team of 80 agents. We sell a bunch of houses. We see transactions. We see the marketplace. We see the industry, sometimes in a different light than individual practitioners. And so we like to come on here and to talk about things and, question the sanity of leaders or just the reality of what the situation is. And today I feel like it's a little philosophical question, a little bit of a, could this be something that will help? And today's topic is how employee agents will save real estate. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. All right.
So don't you love that big? Because does real estate really need saving?
I actually think it does.
You think it does? Like, there's supply and demand is so strong right now. Like, I think that real estate is, you mean like, will employee agents save realtors?
Yeah, no, I think that the realtor brand at the current rate is falling so fast because of the constant addition of we work
untrained agents.
We work more on recruiting untrained agents instead of helping the agents in the business get better. And I think that why I think it could save it is because clearly if they're employees, they're going to have more training, because the independent model, I don't know that people, do as much training as you do when you're an employee. I think there's just so much more hands-on. I think there's more, but more importantly, I think it's the, you have to do these things, because in an independent model, they get the decision on what they want to do whenever they want to do it. And that we see that lead to the most amount of failure in the industry, but also the lack of performance for the consumer.
It's interesting. I feel like I missed out in high school because I didn't join the debate team. And clearly, if anybody's listened to this podcast for any length of time, you know that I just love the spirit of debate. And so I'm going to throw out a couple at you during this conversation, one of which I know that Rob Hahn had an article that you talked about, but let's just say that if employee agents were going to save real estate, then is Redfin the savior? Because all they have are employee agents.
No, I actually.
But let's talk before you answer that. Let's talk more about Rob Hahn, because that's where part of this got started.
Okay.
Right?
So Notorious Rob, friend of the show, right? So Rob,
shout out.
Rob has long written about, podcasted about, and discussed that he feels that he calls it the law firm model, but basically he believes the employee model is what will be the future of real estate. I mean, he is a fan of Redfin, right? Because of, that open door, right? Like, though, to me, but, he just thinks that there's going to be an evolution of brokers that they're going to adopt more of a
employee model.
Yeah.
So let's think about that, because like what I like to do is go, okay, so let's talk about a broker, because a broker has to be the one to employ an agent.
Right.
Like, actually, I think that laws vary from state to state on who can pay a realtor for licensed activity.
Yes.
But in our state, in Arizona, is what we know. And that is that the employing broker is the one that can pay an agent for licensed activity.
And not the team leader.
And not anybody else.
Right.
Right. So then let's go with like RE/MAX, for example. So RE/MAX hires an agent to work with them. Currently, I just know of RE/MAX hiring independent contractors as agents, not having employee agents. What would they need to look like to have an employee agent?
I just don't think they're going to do it. I don't see it coming from that angle. I think he was just talking about new versions, like, 15 years ago, Zillow wasn't on the landscape. Like, he just thinks that it's the future, literally the future.
Yeah.
But
because I think that, like, for us, for example, I would like to have an employee agent.
I think, this is our debate is why, I think the only way that because I don't think that I don't see Zillow has employees. I don't see Open Door, and I don't see Redfin.
All of those have employee agents.
All of those have employee agents.
Yes.
And I don't think that the quality, I guess overall they get a good service rating, but I don't think of them as let me say it this way. I don't see their businesses booming because like I see Zillow's leads booming, Zillow's business booming because of the leads they provide agents and making money that way. That's where they get the most amount of their revenue from. I don't see their iBuying business really exploding, right? Like I don't see Open Doors business now. They've been doing it 6 years. It's expanded in the sense that it's bigger, but here locally it hasn't gotten bigger, right? Like it's gotten bigger because it's now in every state, but it's a small piece of the pie. Right. Same thing with Redfin. It's not like that's not like that model. Like it exploded in Washington, but it has not exploded here.
Agreed.
Right. Like they have. So to me, I think they got to improve their level of service. And why I don't think it's going to come from the broker. I think that Rob expects to come from the broker because that's the only one that can hire it. So it's the reason it's hard to speculate that,
Yeah.
How employee agents will save real estate. I think it's something that we're projecting for the future because we're hoping for change. We're hoping that
not only are you projecting it for the future, but I think the piece of it that isn't included in that title is that as an employee, you are able to control the actions at a greater scale than an independent contractor. And when a business leader, when a lead generator can control the actions of an employee, you can have standards of your business.
Right.
You can have business standards that if they're not met, that can affect compensation, that can affect continued employment, that can affect bonuses or whatever. And so then that lets you put a little more of a, forceful hand on doing a great job for the client.
Yes. And I think that the point that has to be pointed out is the way the business is going, because the consumer has more and more knowledge, right? That we're seeing them. I mean, we're getting involved.
Let's go with the listing conversations that you've been having over the last 3 days with the clients telling you how to do your job.
Right. So that I think that it's gonna, to me, it's moving into, there's gonna be a lot of situations in real estate that the agent's going to have to be more customer service oriented in doing things that they don't want to do to help the people, right? Like, because I mean, we talk about tell me what kind of brokers are going to be able to offer,
like who can hire an employee.
Right.
I think that step one is like for us, do we want to hire an employee agent?
I think it would be a good model.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why? I think because we have leads.
True. Yes. I also think because I think when agents get to choose their own path, they tend to go for just the high commission check stuff over the low commission check stuff. And I think that there's a business to be made on the low commission, like doing things where you don't think you're gonna get a big check for. Because I think because the checks could become lower. I mean, there's a lot of commission compression. So there's just, I don't know that the current model will continue to flourish.
Interesting. So really the ones that are hurt most by the commission-based salespeople potentially would be the lower price ranges, because the commission-based sales agents are less interested in helping the people where they make less money. And a salary agent could help that demographic or that buyer.
Yes.
Because they're no longer looking at what I'm going to make on this deal. They just need to get another deal.
Yeah. And the thing is because we work with a lead partner that gives us a lot of low end deals, and it's hard to get people to pick up those phone calls. Our phone call rate is dropping. Why?
Well, if I'm only going to make $800, then is it worth my
$1,200
time?
or $1,500 or whatever it is, and it's they don't look. There's other benefits, but it's hard to articulate. It's just hard for people to think. Well, if I do 7 of those a month, then I make more than
So what I think, I guess, in trying to zoom out and see the industry for what it is you almost have brokers that are employee driven, or you have brokers that are independent contractor driven. And the biggest difference that I can see of those two types is lead generation.
I
Because
completely agree. No, the lead generation person is definitely going to be the one that's going to do the hiring.
Redfin, they generate leads. They can have an agent. They need to pay somebody to answer that inquiry. And before they have enough leads or a sustainable amount of leads, they have, I see, they have independent contractor partners that can be at different brokerages, but to be at their shop, you've got to be, I think that they only hire employees, I think.
Yeah, they refer it out.
Right. So then the non-employee brokers, the independent contractor brokers, really are relying on the independent contractors to generate the leads to support their brand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Because I don't know, is that what you guys am I off? We have a studio audience here. I know, Leah, you weren't able to get your mic unmuted before, but are you able to find the unmute button and join the conversation? While you're looking,
Helper.
Yeah. So, if you click on the window and then hold down the space bar, sometimes that helps.
Hey.
Yeah, that does. You have to hold it down.
Hold it down. You got it.
And now say hello.
Speak.
Hello.
Hello.
That works.
Yeah.
That works. Well, you got to hold it down. Okay. So back to the question. Do you agree that the independent contractor brokerages rely on all of the agents to be the lead generators in order to spread their brand name?
Yes.
So let's find out who she's with and see if they provide leads for her.
Okay.
Who are you with?
West USA.
Awesome. Great brokerage. So how many leads a month do they send you?
Here, question mark.
They send me a lot. I don't always pick them up. I probably pick up about 10 a day.
Are you on a lead team?
Yes.
Okay.
10 a day is a lot.
It is a lot. And I tried even capturing more of those, but it just got to be too much.
And so how many can you capture in a day?
Out of that 10, I probably actually make contact with one or two. And
wow.
most of them turn out not to be very viable leads.
Do you know what that lead source is? Is it Zillow? Is it Google pay-per-click? What is it?
It's Zillow, realtor.com, and there's a couple other ones, I believe, that they
Sounds
grab
like
them from.
OpCity. Yep. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Interesting. So then the broker is putting this lead pool. And so is it an option to be in their lead program or not? Like you've signed up for that program?
Yes, I
Okay.
pay a fee every month to get the leads, and it's a numbers game. I mean, the more you pick up, obviously, the better chance you have of capturing something that's going to turn into a deal.
So do you think, Jeff, thank you, by the way, Leah.
Great
We
comment.
love dialogue back and forth.
You're
So I
welcome.
appreciate that. So then, Jeff, it almost sounds like West USA might be using it somewhat as a retention tool. Because they've got, or maybe a recruiting and retention tool.
I think it's recruiting and retention.
Join our brokerage so that you can get these leads. So then you have to, in order to, because I'm a pretty linear person.
Are they national?
West USA?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Do they have agents outside of Arizona?
They're not on the East. I'm just joking. I think that they're on the West. I don't think they're national.
Yeah, I don't think
There's a trucking company called Western that's across the U.S. Okay,
it's the Western Hemisphere.
I know we have one agent that also works in San Diego in California, so I'm not quite sure.
Okay, good deal. All right, but the point is they're not.
Here's my point: is that could West USA run a more profitable leads division if they had employees versus offering it to independent contractors? And if they did that, would that then hurt their balance sheet or their P&Ls because they weren't able to recruit and retain as many independent contractors? Like, is it a lost leader?
Is what a lost leader?
Generating leads, managing the process of generating
Well,
leads.
I mean, the thing is because we are a lead generator, what is our number one challenge with agents and giving them leads? They don't
follow our process.
Follow up with the people, right?
Exactly.
Like we know that we have maybe 3 or 4 out of 80 that are really good at it.
You heard me I just had a one-on-one with an agent where I spent an hour talking about, she tells me that 2 of the 30 are any good. And I said, okay, cool. Can I call this one? And she said, sure. So I called the lead. She didn't pick up. And then I texted the lead 3 times and the lead responded. and said, oh yes, I'm not interested in that, but keep me posted. And so now I have dialogue with one of the leads that she said was bad. Why? Because I follow the process that we know works.
Yes.
The question is, can an independent contractor follow who's better at following the process of making burgers at McDonald's, employees or independent contractors?
Well, no, goes back to my thing is that they want to do the business the way they want to do the business. And they would rather focus on like, well, if I'm getting this lead from you, they're not taught. I don't know as if they're, as an independent contractor, in with the vision of it. Like they don't believe everything that we tell them. So I think that I think that an employee model will be more successful following leads for sure.
Yeah, interesting. Even if it's an employee model for like the first 2 years of them being an agent, where
that's the thing that I think is going to be because I think it would also help agents when they got into the business that they would have better guidance for 2 years. Yeah. Right. Like I think, I think the best model will come from maybe from the national, maybe from Leopard, realestateLeopard.com, National Association of Teams, producing an apprenticeship model that would be tied some way into it once. We're hoping like the truth be told, we're pushing in Arizona to allow teams to hire staff because we
follow up with licensed activities.
Right.
Yes.
We believe it will be very successful. So
yeah. So I don't know that how employee agents will save real estate. I think how employee agents will save real estate actually comes back to the apprenticeship model, where if I can hire somebody and give them a job and their job is to assist an experienced agent with transactions, and they learn the nuances of the marketplace, the rules of the road, the protocol, the standard operating procedures that are out there, even though they're not written, you guys all know what I'm talking about, right? What's appropriate or inappropriate when you in showing time, like just the lay of the land that they don't teach you in real estate school. They don't teach you. The broker that did the business 10 years ago doesn't teach you, but the people that are doing the business today can help teach.
So you're saying two things: one, an apprenticeship model, and then also a lead follow-up model. Maybe they're combined in some situations.
Yes, and I think that it comes down to, can you require behavior from an independent contractor or not? Well, because if you can't, then it's hard to say that you're gonna have a consistent process to the consumer every single time. Don't you think? Or maybe I'm crazy.
I mean it's what Zillow's their original reason for bringing on people anyways, because I can't get the agents to do the activities we know that are best for the consumer. Like it just like they were, because they said what's our biggest problem is agents don't pick up the phone when we try and give them a lead.
Right. So then they changed their program to, we expect your metrics to hit this certain point, otherwise you will no longer get leads.
Yes.
And that's, I guess, a way to force behavior without having an employee, is then you just loom the lead carrot over their head saying, you want it, you want it, you want it. You got to follow you got to make sure that your metrics hit. But hitting your metrics and having a consistent process for the consumer are two different things. I think that you can have a consistent process with the consumer and hit metrics, but it's hard to say. Yeah. Anyway, I love the debate. I love the conversation.
I think though what has to happen though is actually the idea of, and I think the number one reason for it is that the brand continues to fall and there's not enough actual good training for agents. I don't think when they go to a brokerage, because the thing is you can't learn unless you do something a lot. And when you have one listing appointment a month, you're just not going to be able to learn and improve at that. Where if you have 4 of them a month, 5 of them a month, you can start to build processes and you can start practicing. But also because if you only have one, you're not trying to practice too much on that because you only have one a month. Right? Like, so that's the challenge is when a new agent joins a brokerage and they don't have lots of opportunity, they actually can't learn because you only learn when you do the activity, not when you talk about it. Right? Because
I agree with that.
The training is all the training currently in real estate is classroom based. That's broken. There's no real world experience base. So who's going to bring this Because I think that once it comes in, I think it's gonna take over real estate is what it is.
I mean, we have but what our new agent training program currently with our trainers and our senior partners allows our new agents that join our team to shadow our senior partners and our trainers. So like there are ways to get it out of the classroom, but is that scalable at the brokerage level? I don't know. So if that's not scalable at the brokerage level, because we honestly don't see a lot of that, then maybe the answer is employee agents so that you can have it be more scalable.
And I think, I think for people that they'll realize is that because I actually think the pay will go up, because I think from the broker level, I see the pay being very low. And I think that is because meaning that I had a girl, I hired her, she was working with me, and she was making 50,000 a year with me. And
she was a
she was doing a short sale negotiator.
Short sale, okay.
She was doing short sale negotiation, and then she handled some leads as well, but she was, so she left for a job at 60, I think it was like 56,000, right? So, and then she could say at the most she could make 70, that was like their plan. And I think that if we teach people to make, to do leads, that it could get up to low triple,
Okay. Here, I got another.
As long as they're good at producing.
I got another take on the employee agent model. Is that I currently feel like there's a stigma with you left being an independent contractor to be an employee.
There is one.
What is it? What's that stigma?
You couldn't make it.
Right?
Is that true or not true? Do you think
like we had an agent that we used to work with at Realty One Group, when she left to join Redfin, everybody was like, what? Why?
Well, because
she doesn't know how to generate her own business. Oh,
even though some of the people throwing shade were making less than her.
I'm just saying,
right?
As always, the people that throw shade are going to be a wide variety of people, because a lot of people throw shade at our girl Taylor Swift, and they don't make as much as Taylor Swift.
Fair.
Doesn't she sing a song about shade, or am I crazy?
Yeah,
maybe
she probably sings a couple songs about shade, but the weird thing is they always become number one.
That's good. Dust it off, brush it off, shake it off,
shake it off.
Yes, yes. But I think that if employee agents were allowed to be managed, so let me get back to the lead portion of this. Is the companies that have independent contractors as their lead generators.
Yeah.
Right. So like, let's just say us, like the Sibbach team is at eXp Realty, and we've grown the Sibbach team to have 80 agents because we understand how to generate leads.
Right.
So wouldn't it make sense that we could hire somebody and pay them and even offer benefits, like health insurance, 401k,
yep,
so that they could have a job of following up with the business that we generate that the agents that are commission-based don't want to follow up with. But currently that option doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a dated practice.
Well, I mean, to me, let's look at it. There's this phone company called Apple.
Phone company.
APPL. Very simple. They got
APPL.
LE. Apple. When I got in 1990, when I was working at a software company, they were actually made fun of. So
yeah, it was 1990 and they were Apple.
They were 1990. They were Apple. They had, right when they started coming out, the colored computers on the desktop and all that, and they had a small portion of the, like they were the stepchild. So
you couldn't right click.
Exactly. But now they're more popular, right? But the thing is I just think that, because they went into handheld devices versus just the computer, because they first came out with the iPod, and then they went to the iPhone, and now they did everything possible.
They own the letter I.
They own I. Yeah. But popularity and quality, right? Like, meaning that will be when it's going to emerge. And I think that once it gets to the team level, I think that it's gonna get more popular, because teams, it's just you want the leads to be able to be followed up on. Right. And and follow the process, because it's hard to get people to follow the process. They just don't. As soon as they can get off the process, they want to not do it, even though it works.
I'm gonna do it my way.
Okay.
Thanks. I'm gonna do it my way.
Yes.
Right. All the time. All right. I of course, like I said, I like the debate. We are pushing in Arizona. We are presenting at the Realtor Caucus. This is something that we're bringing from a lobbying standpoint as high as we can to the Arizona Association of Realtors to say, hey, isn't it about time that we look at this law and have an actual conversation about whether it's outdated and needs to be updated or not? And it'll be interesting to see how that goes, but stay tuned. And obviously I'm going to present on our podcast. I'm going to share with our listeners kind of how that goes, because next month is a big month. Next month is the caucus. That's when we get the yay or nay on whether or not the industry looks at this law as being dated or not. And so stay tuned.
Awesome. All right. Anything else, Phil?
Just again, thanking Leah for having her video on in our studio Zoom audience. We appreciate you joining.
Steven had his on for a little while.
I saw Steven in his car. Yep, he had to go. That's awesome. But thank you guys for listening. If you guys appreciate the podcast, actually, I'd love the comments. Your email, dare I say, is jeff@sibbach.com.
Nice.
Mine's Phil@sibbach.com.
Yes.
I'm very curious.
And it's not FILL.
Although I should set that up to work too.
But Fill up at Sibbach.com.
Yeah. My last name's Sexton. I got it worse on the last name than the first name. Right. Leah, back unmuted.
Yes, thank you guys.
Of course.
Thank you.
Hold on, and Lena's asking a question.
Yeah. So if this does pass, is this something that you guys are willing to share within Leopard? Like, how
yes.
do you do things?
No, I think this is the future. I do. I mean, let the truth be told. I think it's going to be, but I think that Rob Hahn was wrong and thinking that it's going to be the brokers. I think it's going to be the teams that are going to drive this model, and because they are the lead providers.
Exactly. I don't need to stigmatize broker or team. It is the lead generator that needs an employee to follow up with people. That's it. It doesn't matter what their name is. I think
as a new agent, it would be a wonderful thing. I wish they would have had more of that going on when I was a new agent.
Yes. How long have you been an agent, Leah?
I've been licensed since '96, but I started out my career in '94 as a real estate appraiser. And I did that for 17 years. So I did very little. Even though I had my license, I didn't do very much. And I'm going at it full bore now. And I've learned probably more in this last couple of years being on a team than I ever had the whole time having my license. So,
well, isn't that a support?
You guys do have a team in EXP that is looking for an employee agent.
Well, we're hoping for this to get passed. Yes, we're hoping for this to get passed. Yes.
I almost applied.
Okay.
And I don't really care what people think, but sometimes life changes, and it's all about the security of having that regular income.
We agree. No, we think that there's lots of people that want the security, and
I think that they're excellent, outstanding, ethical individuals that are super knowledgeable about this industry, that know how to take care of clients, that may not be good lead generators.
Yes. And
I think that an opportunity like an employee agent to follow up with the leads that somebody else can generate is a thing that should exist.
Yep.
So,
awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Leah. Thank you guys for listening. Again, I want both sides of the debate. So if you hear this and you're like, no way, Phil@sibbach.com.
Jeff@sibbach.com.
Peace.
Thank you.